All right. Homer, could you elaborate a little bit on the alt FOMO phase again, please? How can alts pump so hard when BTC is pumping the same time from roughly 60 to 90K? I thought BTC had to stand still for alts to run. Okay. I can see why you would think that, and I would think that too if I didn't closely study this chart here. I will show you what I mean by that. And I think we have two things. I'm going to put ETH USD on here, the Coinbase feed, and I'm going to put .USD. The reason I'm going to put .USD on here is I think DOT is a good representative of what, of a project that is very strong versus Bitcoin this cycle, whereas ETH, DOT is kind of the ETH for this cycle, right? That's kind of the way I'm seeing it right now. Now Cardano, I still like Cardano better for the long term and for the rest of this cycle, but the main thing is Cardano has had more of a meteoric rise more recently, whereas DOT has been more steadily appreciating. So I like using DOT's chart. But take a look at this. All right. So I'm going to change this color to be respectful of Ethereum to purple, kind of their, like as close as I can get to their theme color. All right. So we go take a look at the cycle. So I remember I called this the rotation phase, right? So Ethereum USD went up while Bitcoin was going down, right? That was kind of, money was rotating from, apparently, some funds were at least going from Bitcoin over to Ethereum while that happened. But then you see, here's the FOMO phase I'm talking about. All right, so last cycle, this is a big move on Bitcoin. It doesn't look like it because of how much bigger, but from the beginning, let me put it at the very beginning here, what would be the FOMO phase, right? From the beginning of the FOMO phase, the equivalent, which is right after, like you see this shaded box, this is where we're at in our cycle. So I put it really literally at where we're at in our cycle, right? And we move forward from there. All right, so ETH starts kind of slow, but they both are in a pretty good uptrend, right? And so Bitcoin gains, so this is the end of April basically. By the beginning of May, roughly a couple weeks later, Bitcoin's up 30-40% from there, and then consolidates a little bit, and then he's up 100% roughly in what, 2 months? April, May, in a month, right? So in a month, Bitcoin's gone up 100%, and Ethereum's gone up 200%, 260%, and then they both sell off together. Bitcoin sells off from 111 down to 45%. Ethereum sells off from 266 down to 196% gain. And then they both continue their rise. And at the peak of it here, Bitcoin had gained 128%, while Ethereum had gained 626%. So, a move of 60,000 to 100,000 is not even, it's, what would that be? Let's go do the math on that real fast. 70% move. All right. So in the FOMO phase last time, Bitcoin made 140% gain, while Ethereum made a 600% gain, and that was I think right after. It was right around the same. It started right around the same time frame, distance, like days into from the halving as we're at right now. That started. So again, a run, and we would probably, if we do, because of this consolidation we have right now, the truth is, this consolidation, this sell-off is actually fantastic. And I'm going to tell you why. It's going to reset all the indicators. The pi cycle top is going to it's going to slow that pi cycle top down a lot. It's going to reset the weekly RSI. It's going to cool off a whole bunch of indicators, and and a little bit more consolidation is going to give a ton of fuel. So the next move will probably be a monster impulse, to 80s or something, and then a little bit of a sell-off back to the 70s, maybe high 60s, and then the next leg up is going to be big, and it'll probably peak out in the low 100s, like more like 108,000, something like that, right? Which would make more sense, and then sell off, and then we start our summer doldrums as we fight with 100,000. That seems, I don't know. This is not financial advice. I didn't start my thing with this. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't Van by the river, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? So Bitcoin makes an 80% gain from here up to 100,000. There's a good chance that the alts could still appreciate even more. Now they've made such a big move. I was kind of worried about that. So let's go look at one other thing here before I forget. Let's look at one other thing that Ethereum did last cycle. It's down here at the bottom. I gotta go to percentage. All right, one other thing. You see the cycle where we're at in our cycle. So we're roughly 644% up, We're really 308 days in now. Sorry, I had that slightly off. I'm sorry. I adjusted it last night, but apparently TradingView didn't. So let's just say 650%, 644%. I think is where we were at 308 days, right? So yeah, this shaded bar is roughly where we were. Now look, how much had Ethereum, appreciated from the halving to that point. Ethereum was already up 700% from the halving to this point in the cycle, and then went on from 700% up to 3,500%, right? So it seemed like it maybe had run out of gas and did consolidate here a little bit. Then it just went absolutely bananas. All right, and that was roughly like 310 days. The last cycle, we're 308 days, right? So I don't know that Ethereum is going to do that, because we looked at one other metric last night that Ethereum is tracking really, really close to Bitcoin this cycle, whereas it was a lot less correlated last cycle. Now you look at Polkadot. Polkadot, I think, is a much closer analog for this cycle of what Ethereum for last cycle. It's far more speculative. It's got a lot more upside because it started with a much smaller market cap, so forth and so on. So this cycle, Bitcoin has made a bigger move to this point. It's up 600% versus like 300 or 400% last cycle. I can't remember the exact number, but Polkadot has gone up 1,000%. So remember, last cycle Ethereum went from 700%, consolidated a little bit, and then blasted off to 3,500%. While Polkadot made a move to a little bit more than 700, a 1,200% move, and is consolidating. And it's not impossible, as crazy as crypto can get, that Polkadot blasts off to like a 3,000% gain from this 1,000%.